Okay. All right. So welcome to OTC Live for our Early Childhood Education Program Takeover. Before I introduce our program advisor, I'm going to show a quick video of the Early Childhood Education Program Takeover Summary.
I was blessed with like a lot of great male mentors, and I feel like that me having that relationship with a lot of good guys made me who I am. So I want to be that great mentor for other kids. And another reason was growing up, I never saw a lot of people in education that looked like me. So hopefully I've always wanted to get like more like Black children in education and then be comfortable with it.
All tall. We are all tall. All small. We are all small.
Fun. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop the screen share. Okay, so welcome everybody to the OTC Lab Program Takeover of Early Childhood. I'm gonna let Ms. Paula Clifton introduce herself and give a brief introduction, and then we will start asking her all of the questions. Paula?
Good afternoon. I am Paula Clifton, the advisor instructor for early childhood education. And I am the instructor, but we have 3 adjunct instructors. And we teach several courses each semester. Some are offered every semester, some are every other semester, some are offered once a year. And I kind of teach at every level. So I get to see our beginning students, our students that have been here, and then students that are getting ready to graduate and exiting students. So kind of keep my thumb on the pulse of all of our students throughout the program.
Awesome. All right, so me and Hannah Joy are going to alternate and ask you a couple of questions that have been submitted. So I'll go first. So how long does it take to complete the early childhood education degree?
The degree is a 2-year program, but that does include your practicum, your internship, and you do earn a concentration, but there is a choice of 2 concentrations. One of them is program administration, if you want to be a center director, owner, operator. The second concentration is paraprofessional, if you want to be a para in the public school system. So they have a choice on which direction or pathway they'd like to go. The para pathway helps also prepare them if they want to continue on to a university and get their bachelor's degree. This is a good stepping stone for their 2-year degree, transfer credits over, and continuing on getting their certification as a teacher in the public school system.
Okay. Paula, what kinds of jobs can I get with this degree, and what's the salary range?
With the program administration concentration attached to the degree, those are more or less seeking out to be a center director, owner, operator, but they can also be a lead teacher, not only in child care centers, but Head Starts. They could be, also work as a para in the public school setting if they take that pathway. And the starting salary can start anywhere from like entry level, I would say probably $9, $10 an hour, up to 15 an hour, but if they go into the school system, they're also earning state benefits.
Okay. If I wanted to start my own daycare, which early childhood care education program would you recommend?
We do have a standalone certificate for program administration, which is just 3 courses. If you just want to get the minimum requirements to start a child care center. It's 1103, and then 2 concentration classes, which is program administration and management. And with that, that's just a piece of the requirements that Bright from the start would require. But we are a piece of that puzzle, and we can accommodate them in that choice of opening up their own home center.
Are students taught how to work with special needs children?
Yes, actually, that's kind of what my niche was in my past in teaching and education. It's embedded in several of our courses. I don't think there's a course that we don't talk about children with special needs, to make modifications and accommodations for children on any level of the spectrum of special needs or autism. But on that same token, it could be students that are exceptional and gifted and talented. So you also got to modify lessons because you need to make sure the rigor is there to keep them interested. But there is one particular class, and it is a degree level class called Exceptionalities. And that class is that focus, the entire focus on that class. It's not just embedded into the pedagogy, it is the entire semester learning and really diving in and learning about children with special needs and working with them, how to overcome a lot of their obstacles, how to lessen their frustrations, how to get to the foundation of what's causing some of their stresses and their issues they're having. And a lot of it's documentation and doing a lot of different interventions, finding out what's worked, what hasn't worked. A lot of times, children with these special needs, if you give them smaller class setting, a little bit more one-on-one or small grouping, they can get back to grade level, and that's the goal. But at the same time, if you're giving all these interventions with the children with the special needs and they're just not meeting or mastering that skill, then you might, have those conversations as far as special education and someone that's more highly trained and specialized in that area that can really focus on their needs better. So we talk about the vast array of exceptionalities that we can look at on a daily basis.
Okay, I was going to ask a question that actually wasn't on our list. It was just something that you brought up earlier. I was just wanting to see if you could maybe kind of explain or give a little brief explanation. You mentioned, I think it was called Bright from the Start. Is that right? Or Bright Start? If you can just kind of, what is that? What did you mention that earlier in one of your answers? What is Bright from the Start?
That's a good question. Bright from the Start is an agency, a state-run agency that monitors but also certifies child care centers and gives them a quality rating. It's a number of stars, just like as if a restaurant is being rated. Same thing, there's an agency that rates child care centers. It's not mandatory, but any good licensed facility would choose to want to go through that procedure to be quality rated. That's what parents look for. That's what we look for. When we are placing our students in practicum and internships, we're only placing them in centers that have been licensed through Bright from the Start and have quality rating. If you're owning or trying to open up your own child care center, they're the ones that would issue the licensing. They're the ones that set the standards as far as background checks, criminal checks, fingerprinting, making sure that people that are going into schools and centers that they are fit to go in and working with children. But there's a lot of resources with them as well. The GELDS is something they've also had helped developed. Those are the standards of learning from birth to age 5, because in public education, you have like the Georgia Common Core. It's the standards from like kindergarten to 12th grade, what you would teach for any particular grade level, whether it's kindergarten or first grade, and if it's math, Years ago, we didn't have that for birth to age 5. So they help implemented what they call GELDS. It's a framework of what students should know, which developmentally appropriate for a particular age group. That's a good question.
Do you cover business management and or leadership in your program?
We do. We talk about it more so into the concentration of program administration within our degree, because that's what their role will be if they want to be a director of a child care center or want to own their own center. They're learning those business management skills. And then also in our internship, we've just started implementing last semester some business management techniques, scenarios, hypotheticals, almost as if they were writing a business plan, if they were to open their own child care center and what that would look like. Just give them some more real hands-on information as far as, if they do want to seek out owning their own center, the benefits that they would learn from that.
Okay, last question, unless anybody else has any after this, but are there scholarships available for early childhood care education students?
Yes, actually there's many, and that's one of the things I really enjoy searching and researching to find scholarships. Of course, we have the Hope Career Grant. If a student comes in and declares themselves a diploma level student, we have free tuition if they are qualified that will help with the cost for the diploma. And then at that point in time, they can, if they choose, switch to the degree level. And there's some additional scholarships that we have through DECAL scholars that will help with tuition assistance. And then in addition, there's some awards and scholarships and incentives that pay them for each TCC, Technical Certificate of Credit, which they earn 2, which are embedded in the diploma and or degree. And they all pay one on top of another. They have to be working in early child care and going to school for that one. Then we have the WIOA, the Workforce Investment Opportunity Act, which helps with tuition assistance, school supplies, resume writing, interviewing skills. There's several resources out there that we, during advisement, we discuss in detail with our students. And I love teaching early childhood. I love coming to work, and I'm lucky to say I get to do that. But I think one of my favorite parts is advising and talking to students, finding out what their goals are and helping them achieve their goals, whether it's through scholarships, online learning, coming to the class, finding potential networking opportunities. So we have a lot of opportunities within early childhood, and we have a lot of fun.
Awesome. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Paula, do you have anything you want to add just to kind of, I guess, wrap up, kind of covering your program for the week? What's your favorite part about early childhood? What's your favorite class to teach? Anything?
As I mentioned, I teach classes at all the different levels. So I get to see students, throughout the beginning to the end and see the growth in our students and how maybe they might come in and they're a little bit shy, a little bit nervous, a little bit intimidated, just getting back into school. And by the time they graduate, they have this confidence level that is just so noticeable when you see them starting and by the time they graduate. And like I said, one of my favorite parts outside of teaching is advising. But I think the one thing that students don't always think about with early childhood is we do a lot of theory in the classroom, but we mix that with a lot of fun in the classroom. And with those video clips and pictures that you've seen in the program takeover, we have a huge lab. Our lab is essentially everything you would see in a classroom, whether it was a child care center or in the school system. And we recreate lessons in the classroom, whether it's read alouds, literature, activities, math and science, experiments. We go outside sometimes and do some activities. We just have a lot of hands-on activities. We don't just have them come to watch a video or a PowerPoint or read a chapter or quiz. We do a lot of hands-on activities, and I think they really do enjoy coming to school and coming to campus and having that hands-on and using our manipulatives to have that creativity part of our program. Even if they say they're not creative, I'm not necessarily even call myself creative, but when you have a lesson that allows creativity and teaching and learning with children, you find a way to make that fun. So they're learning not by you necessarily doing direct instruction, they're learning by doing and playing, and you make those teachable moments.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, thank you, Paula, for letting us just kind of get a look-see into the Early Childhood Care Education Program. We're super excited about the upcoming fall and all that you have to show your new students and your returning students and your current students. Just to kind of wrap up our OTC Live session, I just kind of want to go over a couple of things for those that are tuning in after this is not live anymore, it's recorded. We are having a free application week starting Sunday and it ends on Saturday. So June the 27th through July the 3rd, you can go online and click apply to OTC. You can follow the steps that are listed here, click on the application for admission, and then you can click the online application. It'll take you, walk you through all of the steps. The other thing I want to mention is for any of our students who are tuning in, if you go to our homepage and under student services, if you'll select student activities, one thing that we're starting to do that's a little different this year, especially if you are returning, this would be good for you to know. We have a student participation incentive program. So if you participate in any sort of events like OTC Live is one, any events that are listed here and then some on campus or throughout while you're here as a student, you need to make sure that you participate in the student participation incentive program, sign you up for some giveaways and some activities and some other opportunities that you might be eligible for. If you attend at least 4 of these events throughout the academic year, then you'll be eligible for a prize. So that's always good to kind of throw in there. And if nobody else has anything, I'm going to just go ahead and end the OTC Live session. Thank you so much, Paula, for sharing all that you know about early childhood. I'm super excited for your students. And we will have another OTC Live, I believe. When is the next one, Rebecca or Sean?
Let's see. It is the Thursday after we return from.
Okay, so a couple of weeks. We will have another OTC Live, so be sure to be following us on social media so you can stay on top of that. So if that is all, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and we will see you guys soon.
Thank you.